the new year is right around the corner, and back in studio to help us plan financially and looking ahead, of course, for 2024 is Johnathon McCoy with Market Advisory Group. Jonathan, welcome in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, so we are approaching the new year. We saw that the stock market finished in a rally this year. What are the major drivers as far as looking at 2024?
Yeah, so I mean, you hear some of the existing ingredients in place in terms of what's the Fed going to do with interest rates, how are corporate profits going to continue to be affected by sort of the slowing economy as a result of the higher interest rates that we're dealing with today. So ultimately, it's always an unknown mixed bag, and there's a lot of great ingredients in play, let alone the presidential election coming up at the end of 2024 as well. So that always tends to have some interesting effects on the market in terms of uncertainty leading up to the election. Typically after the election, things tend to steady out a little bit because we know a little bit more of what do the next 4 years look like, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But ultimately, checking in on what the Fed's going to be doing with interest rates as they sort of get into their either pausing or potentially even lowering interest rates. Some of the analysts are in disagreement about that. We're hoping for a continued market rally. That would be great. But as the market's now sort of reattaining very close to all-time highs, the question is, does it press higher? Or have we reached sort of the ceiling followed by a pullback? And you flip a coin and it's anybody's best guess.
So tough.
Yeah.
You brought it up, obviously the presidential election. You know, we don't know the outcome yet. We obviously know that, but any proactive tips or advice as far as with the market and how the election can impact
it? It depends on your situation, where you're at in life. You know, if you're continuing to accumulate and save in 401ks, IRAs, and other assets and trying to build that portfolio, you've got maybe 10, 15 plus years to sit there and let the assets accumulate. You know, you want to stay in that growth-oriented phase of life so that you can take advantage if the market does continue to rise. Now, if the market pulls back and you're much closer to retirement, you've got to make sure that you're in a position ahead of time to have some assets that you can rely on to spend money even during a market downturn. The last thing that we want our clients to have to deal with is, oh, the market's going down, but we wanted to go on this, you know, bucket list trip, but now we don't feel like we can because we've lost some money. We don't want the market, the analogy I always use is the tail wagging the dog, right? We don't want the market making those financial decisions for you. So if you don't have that money positioned to where you can live comfortably on different asset classes, both aggressive and conservative money, during up years and down years, then you're probably not in quite the right balance for retirement.
Okay, and speaking of retirement, so new year 2024, let's talk to people at home who might be entering retirement this year. What suggestions do you have?
So, reviewing your portfolio is obviously important. We talk with people all the time that maybe haven't talked to their financial advisor for a year or 2 years or even more. We also talk a lot about estate planning. There have been a lot of changes in the tax code and the laws around how retirement plans are treated for your beneficiaries as well. So addressing those issues sort of in tune with each other, how is your money positioned for you to be able to live comfortably throughout retirement, knowing as a lot of folks are approaching or getting closer to Social Security age and Medicare age that it's important to take sort of an annual review, and we put that up as a little bit of a New Year's resolution, just to take a fresh financial look at what your future and for the year of 2024. I've talked to so many people that over the last 3 sort of grueling years in a lot of different industries that they're thinking more seriously about retirement. So address it as soon as possible, obviously, but then get a better understanding of what your tax situation is going to be, how your assets are going to be treated if something happens to you or your spouse, and then that risk-reward scenario we already talked about a little bit in terms of where are you positioned going into retirement. Okay,
really good stuff going into the new year. Thank you so much for all
Start your checklist.
There it is. Resolutions, here we go. Jonathan, thank you so much for coming in. Don't forget to schedule a complimentary consultation. Submit your questions as well. Do that by visiting askouradvisor.com, or you can give them a call 816-548-2000. They'll take your questions and even meet with you one-on-one free of charge. And as always, if you include your address, Market Advisory Group will send you a free gift.